It's after 4, so we have 4 council members with us: Jay Mattingly, Christy Hollander, Tyler Alton, Mary Slade. So we'll go and get the, I'll call the town council meeting of Monday, April 13th, 2020 to order. And of course, this is our first virtual meeting, so everyone please bear with us and understand there's a 30-second delay with the audience, so we'll have to take things slow today. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. And the first point of business would be the invocation and the pledge.
Almighty God, you are our creator and our sustainer. You are our light and our fortress. You are our wisdom and our strength. We ask for your guiding hand to lead us through this meeting. May we approach our task with wisdom, and may we approach our members with respect. May our conduct create an environment of cooperation and kindness. Thank you for helping us to accomplish our work this day. We ask these things in your powerful name. Amen.
Amen. Would you join us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And I do want to remind everyone we do have a public hearing at 4:15, ordinance number 194, adopting the budget and setting the real property tax rate for 2021, fiscal year 2021. And everyone should have received a copy of the last month's minutes. Any comments, questions on the minutes from last month?
I move to approve the March 9th, 2020 minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed?
Hey, Dan, Tyler, I'm going to abstain since I was absent.
Okay. Okay, so motion carries 3-0. Thank you very much. Okay, then we'll move to the treasurer's report. Rebecca, please.
All right, we'll start with the March financial reports that were in your packet. There were no transfers to or from the local government investment pool during the month. Your income statement reflects 75% of the budget year. I will make a few comments just generally. In the last 2 weeks, a lot of things have changed, not just for the physical movement of people, but you might have heard the governor talk about and the comptroller talk about how it's going to affect state revenues and pass-through revenues to municipalities and counties. So what we will just have to do is, as the environment has changed, we will receive income tax receipts likely at a lower rate, but also with a deferred timing, because now there has been a deferral of the filing date. So when I would normally expect June to be a big payment and August to be a big payment that would relate to our current fiscal year, that may not happen. So we're just going to have to wait and see how that affects the bottom line.
Okay.
There's also a prediction that highway user revenue will obviously be significantly impacted as people are not moving around and buying gasoline. So until the audit is finalized at the end of October, it's just going to be hard to predict, but I'll continue to keep you updated as receipts arrive. And if there's any communication from the state level, I'll just pass that along as well. On the agenda are the first 2 budget amendments that I have proposed for this fiscal year 20. And ultimately, they are just to finalize significant changes to the budget that council had already approved in some form. But in order for us to stay in compliance with the charter, we need to just make sure that the budget document itself is always balanced And so both of these will need council approval. The first one is to recognize that we did sell the final condo in July of 2019. And council agreed to take those proceeds to pay off the remaining debt obligation. So that's budget amendment number 1. Budget amendment number 2 is to account for the Community Legacy Facade grant that was awarded for the current fiscal year in the amount of $50,000. And if you look at your income statement, you'll see that we have had some expenses. There's not a budget appropriation there yet. This effectively recognizes the grant revenue and then the appropriation that matches that. So both of those will need council approval.
Comments, questions for Rebecca?
And we spent all that 50, or the facade, people used all the,
Yes.
awesome.
All of them aren't finalized yet. They have until the end of fiscal year,
Mhm.
but we have paid out several of them. so
Great.
far. I have not rolled out the second round, which is 25,000 yet, but I will be doing that shortly.
Cool.
Why don't you remind people of the $50,000 grant, how much impact that actually had?
So
On the,
we had 14 projects that we partially funded, and it was about 185,000 worth of improvements. We are really starting to see some of those spice their new building. They just painted that and got the new windows in. That's looking really good.
That is
But we have, I think, 5 that have been final.
Yeah, that was great.
We need a second, a motion on each one of these,
It can be together.
they can be together, okay?
So just real quick on I know we talked about the town hall paying that off, so we'll pay this off before August, or it'll be after July? I forgot what we
We
said on
already
that.
paid it off,
Okay,
so there's no debt on this building anymore.
okay, debt free,
Awesome.
all right, that's good. Okay. All right, I move to approve budget amendments BJ 01-20 and BJ 02-20 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
And the last thing is just to let everyone know, if you have not seen the new glass recycling container, it was delivered several weeks ago. It's in the town parking lot across from the Good Earth Natural Food Company. And obviously, we've gotten the word out. At this point, it will also be in the Beacon. We will monitor usage. They won't pick it up until we let them know that it's full. So we're going to try to, maximize the expense that we have now that we didn't really anticipate. But at least it's now an option for customers to use.
Yeah, it's great. We used it. It's just little holes and you just dump it in. It's
I was
kind of
going to say,
fun.
it is just the small holes. You can't put like a large amount of bottles in it. It has to go
Yeah,
individually.
it's,
Yeah.
8-inch circle
Right.
or somewhere in there. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Do we have anything for the planning department?
We are not going to have a meeting this month, and they did not have one last month, but we will have one either virtually or in live next month for Meadows at Town Run Phase 2.
Okay. It seems like the construction business has not stopped. I know both Clark's Rest and Meadows at Town Run they're going full bore out there for new homes, so,
Yeah.
They've been pleasantly surprised.
yeah. Okay.
Do we know what the status? We were driving around because we had to get out of the house the other day. The connector road between Leonard's Grant and Clark's Rest. It looks close.
Very close to getting finished. We need to actually meet and discuss some of the traffic signs and
Okay.
like that. And that's not holding it up.
Mhm.
I know that we haven't done that yet, but I think they're very close.
Cool.
Yeah, I think, it looks like it's ready for asphalt, so,
Yeah, it looked like it at least had a base coat on it. It looked pretty good.
so yeah, it should be pretty soon.
Very good.
Okay, thank you. Everyone should receive a copy of Corporal Nelson's police report. Looks like plenty going on. There's 48 vehicle stops, 111 premise checks, and 11 motor vehicle accidents. So, but they are stopping those vehicles out there, so please watch out. So be careful.
I'm assuming with the pandemic, I think they're doing a lot more business checks and
Right.
premise checks on neighborhoods, and-
Right.
which is good.
Yep.
So I appreciate what they're doing.
Okay, Laschelle, you want to move to your report? Not quite 4:15 yet.
So, I just wanted to update on a few general things. Last week, we submitted the Maryland Heritage Areas grant for $100,000 for the paddle boat at the wharf for that project. The good news is we found out that the total cost of that boat was only $322,000, which includes a assumable loan. So it would be, if we got the grant for $100,000, we would have to come up with $32,000 in cash and then the $190,000 for the assumable loan. So depending on what happens with this grant, then we would look at what we would,
Oh, yeah, you're right there.
we would look at, when we have an operator, that sort of thing. So we would go into it more in depth, but that would certainly be more doable than what we initially thought the cost was. So we have submitted that grant last Friday. We also finalized the newsletter. It's at the printing press. It is going to be a completely new format and all the new colors and logos. It's going to be really beautiful, lots of pictures. So we're excited about that. It is going to be a little bit longer this time, just with all the information, and it's kind of late. So we did add a couple pages to it for that. And then, of course, staff has been working from home. We do have utility staff here every morning for several hours, and then we have someone on call, as we always do. Phones are being answered and directed to whoever needs to be directed to. Staff is kind of in and out if they need to be cutting checks, doing payroll, that sort of thing. But so far, it seems to be going very well. And I appreciate how hard the staff is working to try to coordinate everything, and everybody's doing a good job with that. I did hear from State Highway on the Route 245 sidewalk project. Finally, they approved. We had sent them in conjunction with DPW a revised alternative for stormwater management, because the county commissioners did not want a big stormwater management pond in front of the governmental center, which was what State Highway had proposed. So DPW worked with us, and we came up with an alternative solution, and State Highway has approved that now. It has to go back through the plan review again, so but hopefully that'll be moving forward again soon. And then finally, the Route 5 project widening, they have been continuing to work through this shutdown. But there have been a lot of delays between the contractor and State Highway, and they're now saying it would be, instead of being finished in the fall, it would be in the spring of 2021. We still have time? Or? Yeah. Okay. And then finally, the one agenda item I have is the task order for the expansion of the wastewater treatment plant, which with GHD Incorporated, which is our engineer. So in February, we had a workshop, and we worked through talking about utilities, and we all had indicated we wanted to move forward with the expansion of the wastewater treatment plant. So this is the task order to get GHD back engaged in moving that forward. Did you have any comments on it? I had sent it.
And I just did some math to try to compare the percentage of the construction cost to the design bid phase, and the eligible design for the ENR project, which of course was governed by MDE, because they were participating in that project, was 6.37%. And task B, using a $12 million construction cost, which was the most recent estimate that they had given us for the construction portion, this is 7.5% of a $12 million construction cost. So I don't know if we should compare one to the other, but that's the math that I did. That it seems it's a higher percentage than the ENR project.
But isn't there more of there was that was a fairly low number comparatively for a lot of construction projects?
Well, the actual design for the ENR included some ineligible design expenses because we stopped, reevaluated, and started again. So when you combine what was ineligible with what was eligible, it was a 9.6% for the total ENR project. So I'm not familiar enough to know what the range should be. I mean, the engineers have so much institutional knowledge of the past few decades they've worked here. I don't think they would have the same problems on this expansion as they did with the ENR agreement.
Percentage-wise, Christy, I mean, for what you're...
We usually around, I mean, plant upgrades are always a little different because you don't do them that often and they're always very expensive, but we're usually right around in the 10% range for other projects.
That's what the number I had thought.
But
So
treatment plant ones they can be all over the place, I
So-
feel like.
But, I mean, 7.5
Right.
is not exorbitant.
No.
And they did add the task that Christy had asked for about the looking at the sludge to be able to do, produce Class B sludge. So that was a task, a separate item that they had added.
Okay.
Any other questions or?
And remind me, and this might be a dumb question, we have GHD under like a services agreement, and this is
Exactly.
under
And
that
this-
service
right,
agreement?
this is
Okay.
under that service.
Just making sure I understand. Yep.
So it's task order number 18 of the original
Yeah.
general services contract.
Yeah, for a $12 million, I mean, at 7%, that doesn't seem bad to me.
And I just have to rely on people who are more knowledgeable about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when we budget, we do 10%,
Okay.
just as a budget number,
So
so
that's
it's
under
within range, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Tyler or Mary, did you have any questions?
Yeah, everything's good. No, I didn't have any questions.
Anyone care to make a motion?
Oh, I had one more quick question. So before, when they come, so there's phase A or the preliminary part, will they come back, do a little presentation on what their findings were, and then move on to phase B? Or can we have them do that?
We can certainly ask them to do that.
Okay.
We looking for a
A motion,
motion
yes.
for this? Yes.
Yes.
All right, I move to approve task order number 18 with GHD Incorporated for the design of an expansion of the town's wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $934,774.93.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Mary can go ahead.
Mary.
Pardon, Christy? Okay. So
Yeah.
second by Mary Slade. Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Aye for.
In favor of it?
In favor of it.
Okay.
Sorry,
Fine.
jumped in there on the phone and.
Got cut off?
Video feed.
Okay,
Okay,
that was all of my,
all right. So I do have about 22:23 after 4 o'clock, so I'll entertain a motion to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing for ordinance number 194, adopting the budget, setting real estate property tax for FY '21.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Michelle, you want to give a little?
Yeah, Rebecca will go over the budget. Let me just talk about the process. So this is being streamed on YouTube. There is about a 30-second delay, so we want to make sure we allow for public comment. They can, audience members can type in a response and we will read them. Or they can call in at 301-475-9791 and we'll be having someone answering the call, and then we'll put them on speaker and they can give their comment.
Have we received any comments so far?
We have not.
Okay. And it was published in?
Yeah, I think Rebecca will cover that.
Okay. All right. Well, so
Okay.
your report, please.
So the council did meet and approve this recommended budget document after a significant discussion of a draft document. This meeting was advertised in print and in social media on the town website as well. The budget document was posted to the town website on April 1st. And last week, I also made sure that the recommended utility service charges were posted to the website as well. So briefly, we'll discuss some of the highlights. This budget recommends maintaining the current property tax rate of 0.1266 per $100 of valuation. The constant yield tax rate, as calculated by the State Assessment Office, is 0.1249. The difference in revenue between 0.1249 and 0.1266 is only $9,000 for the entire fiscal year. And if I were to take a $300,000 valuation for a residential property and apply each tax rate, it's only a difference of about $5. We can also just revisit the issue regarding income tax and highway user revenue. Obviously, this recommended budget was developed before all of this pandemic happened. And just like I'll have to monitor FY20 receipts going forward for FY21, the same will be true. We'll just have to monitor the receipts as they happen. With highway user revenue, generally we've been in a pattern of allowing the fiscal year to proceed through snow removal stage, and then the remainder we will use for road maintenance in the spring. So if we do see a reduction in highway user revenue, we have much greater ability to modify the appropriation that would match that. So that would happen in spring of 2021. Income tax is going to be really a very big moving target, and we'll just have to evaluate midway through the year and towards the end of the year, recognizing that our rainy day fund is there for a reason, and we may have to use it to balance the budget.
I might add just there with the rainy day fund or the fund balance on appropriated fund balance is at 57% for next year rather than the normal 50. But I think it was prudent to keep it at the 57%.
And that is also a moving number, because even since our recommended budget, there's been some things happen that number is moving. And until we know if we have revenue shortfalls or expenditure surpluses, it was 7% at the date and with the best information I had at the time. So just understand that's a moving number. We also have in this recommended budget, not just in the general fund, but in the enterprise fund, significant one-time capital outlay items. So we never want to get in a situation where we are overextending the operating budget and using fund balance to fund the operating budget, because those are recurring expenses. So what we have here is a situation, if our revenues for FY21 start to look like they aren't going to materialize, there may be points during the budget year that we'll have to look at some of these one-time capital items and decide whether we continue on and do them and balance the budget with fund balance, or we just defer them to a future year. So that'll be a discussion that is available if we need to. So the utility service charges that are recommended will maintain the water and sewer and bay fee at 0% increase. The trash service charges are recommended to increase between 5 and 6%. And that's a function of mostly the escalation clause that's in the trash contract for annual CPI. And that's it.
Okay. Any questions for Rebecca at this point before we ask the general public? Okay. Have we gotten any comments from the general public? No phone calls? Okay.
Well, we should allow just a little.
Yeah, we'll allow a little longer. It's, we'll give a couple more minutes because we are on a 30-second delay in case someone does want to call in. Please do so at this time.
In past years, do we get many comments? I don't remember any last year.
I was going to say we rarely get any comments.
Just call me and, yeah, no, just call me and you can tell me what the message is. Okay, all right, thanks. If you want to take questions from council or anything.
Yeah, any questions at this point from the council? Eric? Tyler, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I don't have any questions.
Mary?
Yeah.
Any council members present here? Questions? Okay.
With the predicted unassigned fund balance increasing to 57%, is there a way we could do away with some of the fees that are listed in here? Particularly event fees,
Well,
zoning and subdivision fees, licensure fees, occupancy fees.
I think the rest, it's appropriate that we keep those in there at this point, and especially with the pandemic, we're not sure what we'll end up with, so my recommendation that we leave the budget as is. Have we gotten any comments? No? Okay, no comments from the general public. I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So move.
I'll second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, so the next step for the budget, we can, anyone feels comfortable or has any other questions for Rebecca? Entertain a motion.
So the ordinance was ordinance number 194, and we introduced that last month, and so it is available to be approved this month or voted on this month.
All right, I move to approve ordinance number 194 to adopt the budget and set the real property tax rate for fiscal year 2021.
I'll second.
Motion and a second from Councilman Alt. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to my report. Just want to remind everyone when they're in, going out to the stores and retail that I've got my mask here. So, found this in my office from about 20 years ago when Leonardtown Rotary had the rodeo in town. That's where these came from. So I had this left over. So
I have one
been
too, I
using
gotta
it.
find it.
So just want to make sure everyone stays safe out there, and hopefully things open up here in the next few weeks, slowly open up, and we can get back to regular order, some sense of regular order. It may not ever be the same, but we shall get through this and move on. And yeah, I did receive, I just want to kind of remind of all the good things out there. I did receive a letter from Leonardtown High School, the SAIL program. I went and did a little session with them. And basically, like I do the budget session with the fourth graders at the elementary schools. This was for the SAIL program. And there, they were learning about how to compromise. So I thought that would be a perfect session for them. So they got the money and had the 4 areas to spend it on, and they divided up the money and finally came up, compromised on how to spend the money, just like we just did. So there's good things out there. We'll get back to this. So. Okay, moving on to council reports. Tyler, events?
Good afternoon. So in light of Governor Hogan's executive orders restricting non-essential travel activities, the town and the Leonardtown Business Association have made the decision to cancel all events in town for April and May. It's encouraged the organizers of the events to either reschedule their events or look into creative options. We're taking a second approach with the town's annual Earth Day celebration. We will, of course, be canceling the public and vendor participation, but there will instead be a virtual program. We are planning a day of programming that'll begin at 10 a.m. Working through some of the details now, and more information to follow on the Facebook page. But the plan is to do a virtual Earth Day. And in addition to that Earth Day, we're offering families a chance to be a part of the virtual Earth Day programming by sharing videos of the kids up to the age of 18 expressing or showing what Earth Day means to them to the Town of Leonardtown website page. So that will start from today until Wednesday, April 22nd. Families can take videos of their children featuring what Earth Day means to them, videos, and uploading it to the Leonardtown Facebook page. Upcoming events, as I mentioned at the time, all events are canceled. However, plans are in the works for the 18th annual beach party event, which would be Saturday, August 8th, and that's it for events.
Okay, thank you very much.
So could I just expound on the Earth Day a little bit to make sure everybody understands what's happening? So the events coordinator is working and individually videotaping the presentations and performers. And then that day it'll be streamed on Facebook. Is it going to be on YouTube channel, I believe is actually what it's on the YouTube channel, just like we're doing this meeting. And they'll also show it, it'll be on Sunday and then also on actual Earth Day. And just trying to get people to participate and still have, be able to let the performers perform and have some entertainment for people as well.
Actually, a couple days ago, I went over to Tudor Hall and did a little introduction for that virtual tour, or for that virtual celebration. It's actually the 50th anniversary of Earth Day this year, 20 years that we've been celebrating it here in Leonardtown. And they'll actually have different events going on that day. And I actually have to go over and redo the taping because it was too windy and that's all you could hear was the wind. So we'll go back over and do that on Wednesday, so. So no, there's
Yeah,
things like
It'll be
that.
fun.
Yeah, okay. Hayden, Community Development and Planning,
I don't have anything to report.
okay. Christy, Utilities?
I don't have a whole lot. As Laschelle said, the Route 5 still moving along. Keep an eye on that from our house. It's going
Yes.
going as well as it
Solid.
can. I mean, it's
It's a big
it's
project.
invasive, but
And actually, they've been able to do some work during the day that they would have had to do at night because there's no
there's
traffic.
no traffic. So,
Which is actually good for
right.
that.
Right, and then driving around, it looks like the SMMA building's still going pretty well.
Very
It's a
much so.
big building.
Going fast.
Yeah.
And then the Garvey Center and library look just about done, so.
Yeah, they were.
They were supposed to
planning.
have their moving day, but with all this, they couldn't do it. so,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's really all I have. And then just other things, just to thank all the businesses that are staying open, and, you know, providing groceries. I mean, they're really kind of trying to figure out what people need and how to help. So I think it's been wonderful to kind of see, I mean, other than the bad stuff, the good stuff of people kind of pull together and helping each other, which I think has been kind of a nice thing out of all this
Sure.
bad, so.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Jay, Southern Maryland Municipal Association update.
Not too much right now. April 20th, I think it's April 25th is our next meeting. I heard nothing. I doubt we have that. And if we do, I don't know how we're gonna have it yet, maybe virtual. Our next SMMA is May 13th. And I was just reading through some emails back and forth with Mayor Benton and Stacy. I think they're trying to come up with how to do that virtual as well. So I don't have any details on that yet. And I think North Beach takes it over next, I believe. Again, just want to thank everyone, thank the staff, and I'll echo what Christy said, thanks, you know, all of our businesses. They're working really hard in the downtown to do what they can. I know we try to patronize them as much as we can to help everyone out. Communities really come together in this time, and just ask everyone to continue to stay safe. If you have a mask, wear your mask out in public, in large crowds, go in the grocery store. And if there's anything I can do, everyone knows how to reach me, so that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just kind of, we had the Mayor's Association meeting last week, and we were talking about the conference in June.
I forgot to, yeah, what was the
I
outcome
was
there?
gonna say, it's, they haven't called it yet, but it's not looking like they're not sure of all the options that they're going to do, but they're probably going to have to cancel it, but they haven't made that call yet, so next few weeks they'll make that call.
Kind of figured. I look forward to that every year, but I totally understand.
Okay? That it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mary, Business Development and Retention.
Yes, I wanted to say how proud I am of the restaurants and small businesses in Leonardtown for trying to get through this. It is really, really hard. There is money out there. The PPP program is huge right now for small businesses to try to get some funding to help them. Unfortunately, it's out there, but the funding's not coming in yet. So these people are still looking for funding. A lot of them are just self-supporting, self-providing for their business. And so I'm really proud of them and how they're staying open. And I'm hoping that maybe when all this is done, we can do a grand reopening of the town of Leonardtown, maybe something that Tyler and Brandy could help out with. And do something where it's some banners and just congratulations, Leonardtown's open. And let's see if we can help these businesses recover from this.
I certainly agree. I've been talking to a number of my clients that are applying for these loans, and it's tough. It's just hard to get through, and there's so many requests. So hopefully Congress comes through and does what they need to do. So okay. The other thing I wanted to mention, I wasn't sure if you were going to talk about, but the bear hunt that the LBA is doing. All the businesses are encouraged to put a bear in their window, so the parents can walk their children around and count the number of bears in town, get some exercise. So still staying away from everybody.
And then when this is over, they can go to the participating businesses, and we're gonna have Leonardtown sunglasses for them if they participated in it, and they can do it driving or walking, and so we have 2 in the town hall window. So.
Okay. Anything else, Mary?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone have any other business? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, the general public.
Yes.
Hopefully, we won't have to do this again, but maybe. So y'all enjoy and be safe out there.
Let me see.
Thank you.